Welcome to Talking Comics issue 27. We're back once again at limited edition comics with a great range as always. And I have Rich with me, and we've just got back from the con. Are you feeling a bit knackered?
It was a bit like jet lag actually afterwards. The 3 days afterwards we were absolutely caned.
I am tired. I mean that was one crazy couple of days.
One long queue for Dan Slott.
Yeah, that was hours of long queue for Dan Slott.
And people queued, Dan signed everything.
We were lucky enough to get an interview. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, you need to go back to issue 25 because Dan tells us some really critical information about what issues you should be checking out for Superior Spider-Man. So you need to do that, basically.
Great interview. Yeah, good guy as well. Dan.
Yeah.
Really good guy.
So I suppose we should get on with the news. Superman, the movie, has been seen by the press. Unfortunately, not by me. I didn't get to see it.
You're a big Superman fan, aren't you?
I do like my Superman. I do like my Superman, but I don't like half the comics that came out.
No, see, I'm a Christopher Reeve fan. The original Superman. I've read a few comics, and it just basically hasn't got the impact.
I'm not a fan of the last Superman movie. I thought it was okay. A lot of people panned it. Look, you know, I understand why they panned it as well, but. Personally, I'm with you. I'm a Christopher Reeve fan. I think the only Superman that's been on in movies is...
He's the man.
He's the man.
He's the man.
Yeah, and when Gary Frank draws him, I'm just like, yeah.
All over it.
All over
yeah,
it.
I'm too. Yeah, he's great.
But they said, and I quote, they said that the Superman movie trailers have not shown very much of the action, and that the movie is packed with action, and also the tone of the movie, which they made very serious in the trailers, is nothing like that at all.
Yeah. Good for DC.
Do you think is that good news? It's
for me. I want to see an action film.
Because you're kind of like naysaying.
I sit on the fence when it comes to DC films. I really do. And I'll go and see them. I will pay to go and see them. I'll buy them on DVD if I haven't seen them at the cinema.
Does that make you feel a bit more positive about what this Superman movie is going to be like? Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah, I am. I'm positive about any film, any franchise that comes out from a comic book. You've got to be positive about it. And if it absorbs you in, and it's got that.
You say that, Rich, but like the last few weeks, you've been like DC movies.
I know, but I will. Batman was just utter tripe, and let's hope Superman's good. Superman's got a lot to live up to.
We saw a new Iron Man 3 trailer. It was pretty awesome. I don't know about you. I loved it. I thought it was...
Big thumbs up from me.
But have we seen, talking about action, have we seen most of the action of that movie now?
No, not at all.
It's really not, is it? It's going to be like totally mentally packed with action, isn't it? Yeah,
I mean, all those Iron Mans at the end, if you haven't seen the trailer,
yeah,
and it's like wow.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome, I have to say. And New Bell was all over it as well.
I don't want the toys.
Yeah. Oh, the toys, yeah. Oh, yeah. The new armor,
19
sets,
figures to play with.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to lead into Dark Avengers? I just think because of the suit, that we've seen. Or they just nicked the suit. For those people that haven't seen the suit, it's the one that looks like it's an American flag.
Yeah, well, that's
it's worn by Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
And to me, it's the same suit that came out in Dark Avengers.
It is Dark Avengers.
Yeah,
but they couldn't use Norman Osborn for it because obviously Norman Osborn's in the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So,
do you think Don Cheadle's going to go bad?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what? It
could well be.
Interesting.
So next Avengers film could be Avengers versus Dark Avengers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I like where that could be going. Could be.
I like it too.
The only problem is at the end of Dark Avengers was Siege.
Then what we do, we sort of like forget about that.
It just doesn't. Well, yeah, it just doesn't go into Siege. Just leave it.
You could do Siege as an animated film.
You could just not do Siege and not ruin the comic book industry.
Yeah. You pretty much so. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. What's this new 52 from Marvel? Really?
Well, I think it could be. It could be their answer to DC. They've tested the water.
Highway robbery, isn't it?
No, they've tested the water.
That's just completely nicked.
No, it's not. Not at all.
No?
No, I mean, DC have got their events and they'll counterbalance Marvel's events. And then you have this big crossover thing.
To be fair, DC and Marvel have been stealing from each other for years, so it's not a new thing, is it?
No,
really?
and what makes one stronger will make the other one stronger. They'll then fight for the market share. They'll bring out more stuff. They'll get better creators on board.
Yeah.
And it's only good for, A, the reader.
Yeah.
The retailers,
and
the market in general. So you've got this whole, let's say the next 10 years are going to be exciting times, and I think that's the way it should be.
we're going to talk about an interesting topic now. 100 Bullets has been announced to be returning, but it's not returning back to Vertigo, which is where its home really is. It's returning to DC, and it's kind of a question as to the Vertigo brand. I mean, we've seen a lot of brands move away from Vertigo, including Constantine. Source Country's been cancelled. We've had quite a few cancellations, and Karen Berger left. So obviously that fundamental that is Vertigo has really, you know, come off its place a little bit, and we're just wondering, is it the case that Vertigo is heading downhill and they're trying to cut the brand out? But in the previews, which I've got here, you can see you've got Wake.
Yeah.
And Wake is a Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy title. No, is that right?
Yeah, Sean Murphy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean Murphy.
And you know, it's under Vertigo, very clearly on the front page of the previews. So it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to know what DC are doing. I mean, it's mixed messages.
My view is that we've seen Animal Man, Swamp Thing in the DC universe. I think Vertigo titles that were years gone by, like your Animal Man, Swamp Thing, your Sandmans, will be in the DC universe. Even Death has appeared in the DC universe in Action Comics. Yeah. You know, way back before the whole change over to DC New 52. And I think what will Vertigo will be DC's creator-owned imprint to compete with the likes of, you know, Image. Right. We're doing very, very well at the moment. Amazing. Big sales from Image, especially on number ones. I mean, people come into the shop and pick up like 2 or 3 copies to speculate. Yeah, Image has taken, it's created its own market, really, hasn't it? And I think this is Vertigo's way, or DC's way of saying, right, we're going to put some cutting edge stuff out there, which are going to be, they might be miniseries, they might be ongoing series. Let's face it, DC do really well in the book market, and that's where these new creator-owned titles might have its place. They might think, okay, like I Vampire has done well in the DC universe, it's now going to be a book in the bookshops. So Vertigo might be their way of saying, okay, creator-owned stuff, bring it on board. So bringing down a little, you know, boiling down what you're saying a little bit, we're going to take down those fundamental characters that have been in, you know, Vertigo for years, pull them into the DC world because they're successes anyway. Exactly. So it's time that they moved out of the Vertigo brand and into DC and really make Vertigo this independent, you know, book brand where you're getting new creators come in and produce new stuff. But let's face it, these characters like Animal Man and Swamp Thing were originally in the DC universe. It's only they pulled them out there to make them more accessible to mature readers and the people who actually grew up with them. Yeah, it's worrying that it's going to suicide Vertigo brands. I mean, look, I'm worried for Vertigo, so I wish them the best of luck. I hope it succeeds, but I am worried for Vertigo. Moving on. WTF certified was a stamp that DC were going to put on all of the comic books that had some major, you know, event occurring, something, you know, impactful on the storyline, so you knew what you were getting kind of before you got it. The news is that they've cancelled this, so there is not going to be a WTF. And all I have to say to that is WTF. Or LOL. Oh yeah. Why the face? Anyway, welcome to Facebook. No. But I thought it was a stupid idea at the beginning, because if DC are doing good comics and they tell the retailers that something's coming up. You did naysay it some weeks back. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do something that's going to be another gimmick. The reason though we were discussing is probably because it's to protect the children who are going to ask what WTF stands for. Yeah. Not that there is a massive number of kids that go and buy comics, but the bottom line is that when they do, who's going to want to explain to their child what WTF stands for? We can't go away this week without talking about Age of Ultron, because that has been selling like crazy, right? Yeah, huge. We did order big on it. Any Marvel book, #1, it's definitely worth taking a punt on. Especially you've got Bendis and Brian Hitch on board as creators. And you've got that Midtown variant again here. Yeah, they'll be coming this week, so can't wait to get my hands on it. And I'm sure you'll be showing a little picture. Yeah, of course. Next to your left-hand shoulder. Yeah, somewhere around here or in front of us. I mean, Midtown produce some beautiful stuff, and we get people asking for it week in, week out. Yeah. And already, I mean, I think we've sold enough copies of that book to keep everybody happy. So, what other big selling books have we had? What's this? There's this Image book, isn't there? That seems to be flying out. Sex really does sell. We've been phoning for sex all day today. Yeah. Phone sex. It was. I'm going to get in trouble, aren't I? But it's a book that's gone from $2.99 to $20 overnight. Really? So, why is that? Sex sells? If that was the case, how come Black Kiss wasn't selling like £5 billion a book? Well, let's face it. I mean, Black Kiss is now doing £10, £15 mark for #1 first print. So it is going for more money. So you're really reinforcing the fact that sex sells? It does. Of course it does. All right. But written by Joe Casey, who's a good writer. Yeah. And I think with Image, it's even like with East Meets West, the pre-orders on that book is absolutely phenomenal.
Right.
And we'll go through about the same amount of those we will do on a Marvel #1 book,
Wow.
which is pretty huge.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
good if he's doing it around the world, especially.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose we can't go away this week without talking about the last thing. It's kind of our moment of the week. We've got an Uncanny Avengers, which was released last week.
It was, yeah.
And at the back of the book, there's something so strange. If you manage to
Sinister,
get,
almost.
if you manage to get a copy of issue 4, you're going to see something very, very odd at the back of that book. And for those people that don't know, you really have to have been hiding under a rock. Professor X has died.
Dead. There's
Dead.
a dodo.
He went in A versus X. Okay, he got taken out,
Yeah.
but his brain is still hanging about.
Somewhere.
Somewhere. And I've got this feeling from the end of that we seem to be returning back to the 90s.
Yeah, and I think everybody's been wanting this idea to happen for quite a while, actually. Especially the staff of the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting. If they do it right...
Maybe, do I say the ultimate villain with the ultimate power?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's a good teaser. So go and check that book out. It's interesting. It is a start. And also, Days of Future Past it is now.
This year.
This
so
year.
I was told.
So we were found out.
Yeah.
In fact, that was Wes that kept us up on that.
Wes is the X-Men fan.
Wes is really up on his X-Men. And Days of Future Past is now. And in fact, in that book, there is quite a strange, Days of Future Past image. So really check it out.
Flashback.
A little flashback. Cool. Yeah, it's cool. So look, guys, thank you so much for staying with us for Talking Comics issue 27. And you've got to see us again next week for Talking Comics.
With Zach.
With Zach.
And his review.
And his review, issue 28.